looking for in business, in love, and in your life. So, as usual, my dreams have just been like, I got a download. And I've been getting this download over the last few days. And a song just keeps popping into my head. And I mean, I started belting it out and singing it around the house and annoying the hell out of my kids. And yeah, I'm going to sing too. That's why I'm on Instagram, because I can't sing on my Facebook. Something about the microphone, even if it's a Yeti, just does not capture my voice. Like, maybe it's the pitch, I don't know. But it doesn't always capture everything. So, yeah, here I am again. And, you know, last night I was watching Gilmore Girls with my daughter, and Lorelai had kind of come to her own moment of realizing that she didn't know what she liked. And she's like, I don't even know if I like Pop-Tarts. Like, I was always doing things against my mother, so I don't even know what I like. And then again, this theme just keeps coming up. I don't know, maybe it's Scorpio season. Maybe we're just all burning right now. And if you are kind of questioning things and being like, well, where do I go from here? Everything's falling apart, or everything's crumbling, or it seems like I'm starting from ground zero, or something doesn't serve me anymore and I don't know if I need to hang on to it or let it go. I mean, 5 years ago, I had an actual house fire. And it's like, I wasn't letting go, and the universe is like, no, you're letting go. I'm going to kick your ass if you don't let go. I'm going to push you in a direction that is incredibly uncomfortable. It's going to technically be traumatic. Everybody around you is going to think that you're going to break. But instead of breaking, you're going to rise up from the ashes. And I mean, that goes into the whole thing with what I really wanted. And ties into this whole idea of the motorcycle and the cool rider. Now, if you don't know this reference, maybe you didn't pick up on it, or you weren't into musicals, or you weren't into stuff from the 80s, you weren't watching movies, or maybe you're just too young. I mean, who knows? Like, pop culture reference, though. Have you heard of Grease? If you haven't heard of Grease, seriously go and watch that, because Olivia Newton-John is just killer in that. Like, rest her soul. But I mean, it's iconic. Come on. Go look it up on YouTube. But another lesser known iconic role. You know Michelle Pfeiffer, Catwoman. Like, the most, like, she's just like sensual and powerful goddess. I loved Michelle Pfeiffer. She was like one of my favorite actresses when I was a little girl. And partly it was because of Catwoman. But she has another role. She plays this character Stephanie in Grease 2. Oh yeah, there's a Grease 2. And instead of cars, it's motorcycles. And you know, like, she's the Danny of they basically flipped it out. I mean, it was the 80s. So powerful women stepping into their, like, darkness, that was a thing in the 80s. Like, if you go and watch some of those old movies, you can really see just how powerful those women were. And, I mean, she kills it in this role. And in this one song. Cool Rider. So, it's like, you really want to know what I want in a guy. Oh, I'm looking for a dream on a mean machine with hell in his eyes. I want a devil in skin-tight leather. It's gonna be wild as the wind. And one fine night, I'll be holding on tight to a cool rider. A cool rider. If he's cool enough, he can burn me through and through. Whoa, if it takes forever, then I'll wait forever. No ordinary boy is gonna do. I want a rider that's cool. I mean, if I got that pitch a little off, oh well. I mean, you get it, right? She wants the guy. And I mean, I forget his name because it's been so long since I've seen it. And mostly I just play that song over and over and over again because it's one of my absolute favorite ones to belt out, especially when it's Scorpio season because, you know, you break out the leather, you break out the black. You can't wear that in the summertime. You can't wear black in the summer, seriously. If you wear black in the summer, like, it's like, it just doesn't have the same effect as in the fall. There's just something about it. I mean, you can still get away with it, but, you know, black is also kind of hot in the summer. Like, it's really warm to wear. It's like the rays actually, like, if you wear black in the summer, you're just overheating yourself. But you can get away with it in certain things. Like, probably not in the middle of the day, but maybe at night. But, you know, I'm in black. I'm in dark red right now. Like, my wardrobe has shifted again. And it'll shift back between the light and the dark. Because I'm both. I'm a Scorpio. It's what I do. Anyway, the thing you really need to understand is she wants the guy. And there's this sweet boy next door who's actually Sandy's cousin who's come in. And he wants Stephanie. Oh, he wants her. He's seen her. He wants her. And just like how Sandy was the good girl who actually had some darkness in her, well, he has the same. Because we are not just light and we are not just dark. We are both. But when we deny our darkness and we just try to play good, we miss out. And so Stephanie is the one that's basically bringing out the darkness. She's like, look, I don't want just some boy next door. I don't want somebody who's coming on strong to me. They don't know what I'm looking for. They don't know what I need. But it's like, for that one, the ground's going to be shaking. And I'll do anything to let him know that I'm his for the taking. I mean, she sings the whole thing. But it's like, I get my cool rider. That's what I want. Well, it turns out that he is that. He's just been the good boy for so long, he didn't tap into that darkness. And usually it's the girl that taps into the darkness for the bad boy. You know the bad boy, bad girl trope? Well, I mean, there's the bad boy who's not good for you. And then there's the, if you want it to be good girl, get yourself a bad boy thing that Backstreet Boys were talking about. I mean, they were soulful, they were sweet, they had the hair, they had like the sweetness to them, and they'd say it's like that they would just love you more than anything, but they would also be a little bit bad, a little bit naughty. So you want both. And Stephanie says it's like, look, I want to ride a motorcycle. I want to be with the guy who has the motorcycle. I want to be behind him, but I also want to get in front, and I want to drive. Like, that's the thing. It's like she wanted that motorcycle. And you know, we all have a motorcycle. Maybe it's not actually a black motorcycle with a man coming out of the seat. Maybe it's something else. Maybe, like, my dear friend Annie Lala says this best. It's like, the person who's right for you is the one that has you falling more in love with the version of yourself that you get to be around them. It's not that you fall in love with the person, it's what they bring out in you. And this is how I recognized that my relationship with my ex was not it. Because he couldn't bring it out in me anymore. He could bring out just enough of my boundaries and just enough of my F that S. I'm not going to say it, just in case. But you get the thing. It's like, he came into my life at a time when I was playing the good girl. And I had that secret inner bad girl tendencies, but I wasn't allowed to unleash it. Because every time I unleashed it, I'd get in trouble. But he brought it out in me. Now, he had way more darkness than what I could, like, I was like, oh my gosh, this is too much. And it's now compromising my values. And I don't like the person that I'd have to be to stay in this. I don't like what this is turning me into. This is holding me back from what I really want to do. This is holding me back from my values. This is holding me back from being able to impart my light and my wisdom. This is holding me back from my messages, because I need somebody beside me who is going to proudly be with me on stage. Someone who isn't afraid to speak out. Someone who isn't afraid to do the uncomfortable thing and get into the powerful rooms with people and then bring me in so that I get a way in. I'm like, I need somebody beside me who can actually rise up with me. Not someone that I have to carry the whole time. Like, it was exhausting. Like, that man had ambition. And I loved that he had ambition. Until I realized that it was mostly, like, bravado. And yeah, he had the ambition, but he didn't have the actual drive. So I was there. And I'm looking, it's like, okay, you want to go in there? I can use my powers to get you in there. I can get you in, and I can show you how to dress, and I can show you how to present yourself in a certain way. And like, but he couldn't embody it because it was a mask. It was a mask he put on, but he couldn't embody it. You need somebody who can actually embody it. This isn't just in a relationship either, for romantic connection. This is in your friends. Who in your friend circle can truly lift you up and embody it so that you can be who you are meant to be? Who is going to help you get on that motorcycle in a way? Who is going to cheer you on as you are driving that motorcycle with your cool rider beside you? You need those ones. You need the ones that are actually going to propel you and not make you wrong for wanting that motorcycle. So, I mean, sometimes my friends, they will be like, hey, your darkness is kind of scary, but I appreciate it at the same time. I mean, yeah, I don't quite understand what you're doing. Like, I don't get it at the deepest level. I get a little bit, and I can respect it, and I'm going to still propel you to it, but that's not for me. And I'm like, that's fine. As long as you're going to still propel me, as long as you're still going to respect me, as long as you're still going to share your perspectives so I can learn from you, so I can get what I need, and I can give to you back, we can hang. Same thing with my clients. If my clients are only taking and taking and taking, but I'm not learning anything as I'm working with them, like there's no challenge, there's no insights for me, it doesn't matter how much they pay me. They could pay me $1 million, but if it's something that doesn't light me up, it's like, look, I am not the right coach for you. Because where you want to go in your transformation is not as deep as I want to go. Like, I could do it, and maybe I'll take you on just because I like you. Or you might be a person who is not likable and you're just throwing your money around, in which case I know how to pull the masks off. And, like, again, you need to know, can you hang? Because there is more to me than meets the surface. Now, I can be in my light, and I can be all dressed up, all pretty. I can dress like a lady, and people might see a different image. I could dress all sweet and innocent. I know how to... I've got a wardrobe that is as dynamic as I am. Or, like, you can see me in badass black with a leather skirt, and you can be like, oh, she's got a certain personality. Maybe she's evil. No. Duality. There's a duality, and it's 50 shades of gray. Like, you have to understand that. And you also have to understand what your 50 shades are. All of them. You need to understand where your darkest side is and where your lightest side is, and you need to know what that shiny black motorcycle is for you. The thing that makes you want to be like, that's it. That's the vision I have. Now, who in my life can help me get that vision? I mean, then it goes into my 5 pillars. But I really don't have a lot of time to get into too much on that you can always check out my other videos. I mean, as I said yesterday, Carly Uncensored is so that you can get my light and my wisdom while I'm doing other things. Because I fully intend to get on my shiny black motorcycle with my cool rider, and I want to do all the awesome, epic stuff that I've envisioned. And it's going to happen. I don't know when, but I had another awesome dream last night, and I keep hearing that song. It keeps playing. So there's a lot of transformation happening. And on the other side of the darkness is the light. So I don't know. Could happen this weekend. I mean, who knows? Could happen next month. Who knows? Could happen in the spring. But I will wait as long as it takes. Because I'm not settling for anything. Same with my attraction of my clients. I'm planting a lot of seeds right now. Even in threads, I'm planting a lot of seeds. And I'm attracting people into my network. And maybe they're for me, or maybe they're for my friends. I mean, I just scatter it. And the reason I do that again is the glass slipper method, which is also kind of the cool rider thing. Because Stephanie probably didn't tell any other guy what she was looking for, but this one, she's like, there's something in you. You really want to know? You really want to know what I want? I'll tell you what I want. I'll tell you exactly what I want. I'll tell you what I'm looking for. If you're not that, you're not going to step into it. And if you can't hold it because it's a mask and it's not who you are, well, I'll see that. I'll know that that's not you. But what if it is? Just what if it is you? I'm going to see. Could be. You gotta get curious. You gotta have strong enough boundaries and know your self-worth and know what your shiny black motorcycle is of what you really want to bring and know what you bring to the table. So you want to know what to bring in. That's like, I could have this even without my cool rider beside me. Like, if I have to, I'll go and get my motorcycle myself. But, it's just so much more fun to get on a motorcycle with your cool rider, either behind you or in front of you. There's just, I have been on a motorcycle before, and the guy, he wasn't it, and I knew he wasn't it, but there was still something about him that brought out something in me that was just like, it was good times, and it was fun, and that was awesome. And there's hints. When you look for those little squirts of delight in your life, the things that's like, oh my gosh, I found another side of myself that I didn't even realize because I was talking to this person. And this person isn't it. Like, they're not in it in friendship, or they're not in it as a client, or they're not in it as a partner, but they're close. That whole thing? It's like you figure out exactly what you want and you say no to anything that's not exactly that. But you get closer and maybe you get some tests to see if you could actually hang with that. And if it's like, oh, wait a minute, this test drive that I'm taking, I'm not quite ready yet. I mean, I still want it. And I've got a little bit more work to do before I'm actually in the place where I'm comfortable with it. And the right opportunities will come around again when you're ready for them. Sometimes things get diverted because other stuff is coming in. You don't know that. You don't know that until in hindsight. It's like, oh, that's why I didn't get my motorcycle yet. I had to learn something else to be able to maintain that motorcycle. Oh, I get it now. I get why it didn't come in. It's okay. It's in the journey. not just the destination. So, how do you find that shiny black motorcycle? Do you remember when you were a kid or even a teenager, before life really handed stuff to you and told you couldn't have it? You know, all those things that you really, really wanted, and then your parents said, no, you can't have it. And it made you want it even more. You know those things, it's like, it wasn't like, I got it and now I don't value it anymore. It's like, I got it and I value it and it's more precious and it's even better than I thought. Like, this is even more epic. Like, the more I dive into this, the more epic it gets. And there's twists and there's turns. And there's surprises. And what you thought you knew, it's like, oh my gosh, like, when I was on this quest, I had no idea. I had no idea just how wild it is to get on that motorcycle and who I'd need to be to get on that motorcycle. And now that I'm on this motorcycle, even if I'm by myself, I'm on this motorcycle and I'm calling in my cool rider to ride with me. Because, you know, even once you get the thing that you think you want, it's in sharing it. But first you got to figure out the motorcycle. You got to figure out the type of person who'd need to be with you on that motorcycle and who you would be on that motorcycle. Because it's not about the motorcycle. It's about the freedom. I mean, if you think about it, Grease 2 is set around still, I think, the 1950s. It might be a little bit further, but I can't remember. But it's still, like, back then in the 1950s, what did women really have? You have to be a good girl and you have to be a housewife and all of that. Stephanie is the antithesis of that. She doesn't want to be some 1950s good girl housewife who settles down and just is June Cleaver. No. She wants to get on a motorcycle because that is freedom to her. And like for me, speaking on stage and sharing my impact, and there's just so much there. You know, I had a severe trauma in my childhood. And I'm not going to say the names, and I'm not going to even tell you too much about it, but if you Google the name of somebody who is near and dear to my heart, some really not nice stuff comes up. Like, really bad. Like, every time I Google just to see the pictures, the headlines are just awful. One of my shiny black motorcycles, and I've got a whole bunch of them, but one of them that I think my cool rider would probably be able to help me with as well is, I want to change that story. I want to change those headlines. I want to change that. If I can change that, that would severely heal my inner child. And it would do a lot. It would be justice. Because when I was 11 and I saw what the justice system really looks like, and I saw how fast people can turn on you, and I saw how there are just no words. The vitriol that I heard, what I had to defend, what I heard kids saying because they were echoing what their parents were saying. and how it destroyed lives. How it set trauma in families. Yeah. It's no accident that I became a very powerful speaker, and it's no accident that I can go into the deepest, darkest parts of trauma and I can pull out the gold from it. Duality. And I'll do it on my own if I have to. If that's what it takes, I will do it on my own. I will get on that motorcycle. I will get on that stage and I will speak that story someday. And I will clear that. I don't know when it will happen. Maybe it will be in a book. Maybe it will be a TED Talk. Maybe I'll speak in front of Congress. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of unleashing a skeleton that's been sitting there hiding because it will help others. Because I said this before and I'll say it again. If you're a single mother and something tragic happens, the last thing you want to say is, "It's my fault." If you say those words, you say them to the wrong person, you're screwed. And you don't know who that wrong person is, especially if you don't know how to pull off masks. Trust was put in the wrong people. And I trusted the wrong people with my heart's pain. And they betrayed me. They made fun of me. They denied my experience. They parroted the same rhetoric over and over. So yeah, that's my motorcycle. That's one of them. It's a powerful one. I'm not afraid to go into that darkness. And it's not for everyone. Motorcycles with the leather and riding around being a little bit wild, maybe that's not for somebody else, especially in Stephanie's world. It's not for somebody else, but it was for her. Michelle Pfeiffer's character, she's just like, I don't want that life. I don't want the good boy next door, and I don't want the dinner with the neighbors, and I don't want to be wearing the pearls and everything. I want to be with somebody who can hang. Well, I've got my own version of that. And I tried it with the bad boy that was really, really bad. And it did not work. Because there wasn't enough light in that darkness. And we kind of pick partners that show us those sides of ourselves. But everybody before the one is practice for the one. But your cool rider is out there. And they want to hop on that motorcycle too. And maybe they might have been a little afraid of hopping on that motorcycle. Maybe they got past that fear and they started doing it. And you see them out there on that motorcycle and it's like, I want to join you. I want to join you on that motorcycle. Because that's exactly where I'm going too. Nobody else is able to hang. Nobody else is able to do that. But you can. And the friends that you have, they can hang to a certain point. Your cool rider is going to be able to hang with you for the full journey. Where friends fall away and they're doing their own thing, your cool rider is going to be by your side. But first, you got to get past your fear of going after your motorcycle. And you got to become the person who's like, oh yeah, give me my motorcycle. Now I'm ready for my cool rider to be beside me. And that takes the work. And, I've given you the maps. You can always check them out. Just go to my link tree. I've got it there. Go to Carly Bonderud Uncensored. It's on YouTube. I put it out there on purpose. And then I'm also going to take the transcripts, because I'm doing that now. I'm pulling the videos off my YouTube channel because, I don't have the raw files anymore. It's not going to stop me. Because the more visible I get, the more I can get in front of the right people to speak on a stage and share that story that I have spent years of my life processing, that I used to not want to look at. And even 5 years ago, I didn't want to look at it too closely. I was in this side of the light. I was like, well, this bad thing didn't exactly happen exactly the same way to me. Yeah, I'm a single mother. Yeah, there's a fire. And you know what? I got my babies out. Nobody's accusing me of heinous things. Nobody's tearing my name to shreds. My family doesn't seem to get it because they want to rescue me. They don't want me to go back into that burned house, certainly not on my birthday. They don't want me to see that destruction because they think I'm going to break. But there are treasures. Treasures for my kids, treasures for me. I need to see it. I want to see how bad it is. I want to see what can be salvaged. And no, I don't want a restoration company to come in and pick and choose for me. I don't want anybody else doing it. I need to be there. So you get me my protective equipment and you set me up so that I can get in there. And even my ex, we were still kind of in a situation thing. Like, he came in as a hero and he's like, well, I'm going in first and I'm going to check to see how safe it is and how stable, and then I will set it up for you. So he put down boards and he made sure that I wouldn't fall through any floor or anything. He made sure I was perfectly protected so that I could go in. I was still doing it pretty much alone, and he was doing his own thing and salvaging his own stuff. But yeah, my birthday in 2019, I went into my burned house. That was the first day we were allowed back in. And I saw all that destruction. So, when you're willing to look through the destruction, you're ready to face it. You've got to be in a place of protection first. Do not go in when you are not ready. And I tell this to all of my clients too. It's like, hey, you had birth trauma. We're going to slowly unpack it. But first step, I'm going to get you strong. I'm going to get you strong. I'm going to get you to the point where you're ready to look at that, because that's the map for you to get out of it, to heal, and to go for your dream birth. But first, I've got to get you strong enough. I've got to get you loved enough. I've got to get you validated enough. I've got to get you to the point where you're okay, where you're safe enough that you can now express your rage. You can express your pain and you can express your rage, and there's no judgment here. All feelings are welcome. Unlike out there, when you're trying to get processing your story, and everybody keeps telling you to just be happy you have a healthy, happy baby, or that it wasn't worse. And then they also spew their trauma out, and then you're like, well, mine's not as bad as yours, so do I have any right to complain? Everybody has trauma. Everybody has stories. And you can't judge it. You can't judge it as better or worse. Anyway, I do have to go, because speaking of birth trauma and healing, there is someone that came into my community about 2 years ago, she said. Well, probably about 3, because her baby is almost 2. And she had just had a traumatic C-section. And she had been screwed over out of her birth. And she did not want that to happen to her again. So she found my community. when it was still just a Facebook group. And she attended some of my challenges, and I had a Get Past Your Fear in 5 days or less challenge, which I could reiterate it just for like outside of the birth space. If you ask me to, I can do it. I know the map inside and out. It's my map. It's pretty powerful. She went through this challenge, and it was free. But she wanted the recordings because she knew they were being taken down. She's like, I'll pay you for these recordings. Like, this is how it works. She was one of the cool riders. Like, she's like, I want to ride with you. Like, all of this other stuff is not helping me. This is what I need. And now she has her own channels because she's in the parenting space. She's awesome. I'll drop the links later. I mean, I've got a playlist now. I call it the Empowered Mom Circle. So she's getting on for another interview. And we're going to talk a little bit more about her birth. She's even more confident than she was the last time we did this. She's been on her TikTok. She's shining. Like, it's actually like shine space parenting. So like, she's just excellent. So we're going to have a chat. I'm going to record it. I'm going to edit it. And I'm going to put it on my YouTube channel. And like, she already tagged me. I didn't ask her to tag me, but she did tag me in her story. So I just, all of a sudden I look up, it's like, she's tagged you in a story. I'm like, cool. So yeah. Anyway, I love you. And I will talk to you soon. And yeah, go find your motorcycle. Bye now.